I'm Corbett Wall with USDA Market News, here with your weekly feeder and stocker cattle market summary for the week ending December the 13th, where you had inclement weather across the nation, curbing receipts and slowing trading down on all your feeder cattle. But still, you had lightweight calves where the demand was best. Those calves weighing under 550 pounds, selling $2 to $5 higher, and that includes the Southeast. While heavier calves weighing over 550 pounds sold mostly steady to $3 higher, and most of that up to $3 higher was just seen on the 550 to 650 pound calves. Those big heavy calves weighing in the 7s and the 8s that we see up north, they're buying those in place of the yearlings that are no longer available right now, as we've just exhausted all of our true yearling supply. Those big heavy calves are still selling mostly steady, kind of like those yearlings have been in the late sales of those. But that big ice storm that come across the southern plains, moving eastward there into Missouri and on into Illinois and places like that, that was the biggest problem for livestock marketing that we saw this week. And it really hit the major marketing area there. And if you look, it traveled right along Interstate 44. And if you start at El Reno, Oklahoma, which is really on I-40, but it's awful close there. If you start at El Reno and just take that trail right up to Oklahoma City, on up I-44 to Tulsa, on up to Joplin, Missouri, and on into Springfield, Missouri, those 5 major feeder cattle markets right there this week had total receipts of 3,700 head compared to a year ago's receipts, which was 24,400 head. So that just tells you how much it shut down the feeder cattle marketing right there. You go south from there into Arkansas, and most all your sale barns were closed down there because of the hazardous road conditions. They did have some power outages too there early in the week. But also shut down some trade like in Montana, places like that where blowing snow and just frigid temperatures, just hovering around zero, and your wind chill's way below zero. There's just most of those producers just decided there's a better day to sell their cattle than fight that cold. So, but still, in the square center part of the United States and in the bulk of your northern plains, you had pretty brisk marketing and had some really good sales in there, and buyers were active, and the cold weather doesn't shut things down quite as much. And these buyers are really going after these calves because these calves have already had some weather on them. They had that bad blizzard back in October there, and some more weather in November, and still having it. But once those cattle have had some weather, they become more valuable to those buyers that are going to take them through the winter there. But we're still a week away from winter, and we've already seen quite a bit of bad weather and snow on their backs. But you look at these light calves and the top quality from Kansas all the way up to North Dakota. You're seeing those top quality 450 pound, mostly black hided but solid colored hided steer calves, bringing from $225 to $230 a hundred, and which is a big price, and we've really seen that grow here in the last few weeks. Your 5-weight calves have not come up quite so much, but $2 is not odd for them. But we're seeing a lot of these flat 600 pound steer calves, and I mean the best ones that walk, and strings of them, weighing right at a flat 600 pounds. They're pushing $2. Which is pretty major, but is doing that a lot, you know, especially in Iowa and Nebraska where you see those farmer feeders. Well, that's $1,200 a head. And you look at that, then that animal still is at the sale barn. So you still need freight, a lot of feed, medicine, care, and time, which interest is not real high right now, but when you're talking those kind of dollars, it still adds up. You've got the opportunity costs involved too. But you can double the weight of that steer, make him 1,200 pounds, and he still has a good chance of only being worth around $1,600. You haven't gained a whole lot, about $400 on a $1,200 investment. But what these guys are doing is planning on taking those steers up to 1,500 pounds plus. Now you've got something that's worth $2,000. You've gone a long way into picking up a lot of that expense there, and that's what guys are planning on doing. And we're taking things to heavier weights than before because we don't have the penalty at the packing house on those heavier weight cattle because our numbers are down. These packers are going to ease up, and they have already on these heavyweight cattle because they know it's going to help pull them through these light numbers. But as of early Friday, still no fat cattle trade. Recording this a little bit early this week, but we don't have any regional weighted averages for you this week. But that does it for this week's feeder stocker cattle market summary. Check out our website for more market information at marketnews.usda.gov. And from the Regional Market News Office in St. Joe, Missouri, we'll talk to you next week.